Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, and I just recently reached over 9,000 subscribers, and you know, it got me thinking that I really haven't touched upon something on this whole YouTube thing that I really should consider if I hope to move on to the future and get, you know, a bigger cult following. That's right, whoring myself out to merchandising. But of course, I can't just plaster my face all over some t-shirt or something. That would be creepy. So instead, I'd have converted myself into chibi form. I can't wait to start selling such great products as Chibi Tekking101 t-shirts, Chibi Smart Tekking coffee mugs, Chibi Dark Tekking pillows. It's amazing! Now, I know what you're thinking. These are amazing ideas. I'm waiting on hold for some kind of ad company to pick me up right now. Maybe I hope to get some kind of Super Bowl commercial next year. But as for them now, though, I decided that, yeah, this would be a good way to start it off. And, oh, in case any other major Bleach reviewers on the internet are watching, you know, for Neverworld, Ace, Bonkai922, King of Lightning, you might be thinking, oh my god, Tekking, you're such a genius. You came up with this idea so quickly. I can't wait to jump on this bandwagon as well. Well, don't worry, guys. I got you covered. I gave Bonkai a cape. Hi everybody, Tekking101 here to talk about Bleach chapter number 567! So the chapter starts off with Asnot and his creepy-ass 90-degree turn angle thingy, stating that Rukia is not capable of feeling fear. I cannot comprehend such nonsense. Rukia's response to this is continuing with her cool expression from the last chapters. I don't give a shit if you can't comprehend it. If you want some proof, then come at me, bro. Like, throw those fear goo thorns at me all day. I can take it. So Asnot is just still there. You can see the expression on his face. He's just kind of, I don't know if annoyed or just bored is this expression. It's actually kind of difficult to determine a person's emotional state just based on their eye movements alone. But, you know, Asnot does a pretty damn good job. It's like... Anyway, we get the title page of the chapter, so Asnot's going to take Rukia up on her offer when we get the title page of the chapter. Bleach 567, Dance with Snow White. Oh, okay, Snow White, I get it because she has ice on Octo. You know what I never understood? Snow White, Disney character, you know, whatever, damsel in distress, what are you ever gonna do? I always had a problem with that character because she had black hair. I mean, Snow White, I mean, I understand maybe her skin is as pure as white, maybe that's what they were going with this, but you think of a character of Snow White, it just vexes me immediately that she has black hair. Then again, wait, Rukia has black hair too, so wait. Oh my god, guys, do you know what I just realized? They both have really rockin' asses. Okay, I felt that. Just continue, just go ahead. So next page, Asnot does indeed begin flinging some more of his fear thorns directly in Rukia's direction, who just basically talk to the hands them, stops them right in her hand, freezes them solid, and they just drop beneath her feet like bolts from the shell that she just like blocked with her hand if she's like Akutabe Gamma or some shit. If you don't know who that is, then go watch these videos! I'm just plugging shit all throughout this video. It's not even like 5 minutes in yet. So Asnot's staring at this, and he's honestly just kind of, you know, he's not really shocked by the fact she stopped them. You know, once again, his expression is kind of bland boredom, if nothing else. But he just goes on to say that if you're not so afraid of the thorns hitting you, or if you're so confident that you can stop the fear ability, then why were you running all around last chapter dodging everything? And Rukia brings up, like, well, back then I wasn't really used to handling its power. I was still kind of getting accustomed to it. It's very hard on my body. But now that I've, you know, activated its power and I'm fully, you know, immersed in it, now your thorns won't have any effect on me. Asnot just looks at her and he's like, okay, you do know that this ability, I mean, I kind of hinted on this last chapter, but, you know, this ability is not like, it's not like an infection or a disease where you get hit in like an open wound and it infects you. The thorns emit that fear goo substance or whatever it was, and as long as it comes in contact with your skin, it'll permeate directly through into your body, and its effects will take over. So it doesn't matter where on its body or where on your body it hits. Doesn't matter, you know, like what amount it is. It could be just like a drop or like an entire like gallon of it. As long as it comes in contact with your skin, that is the only prerequisite. After that, you're pretty much screwed, and you're in like your own fear universe, like Byakuya was. So Asnot basically says, infutile, stopping it is impossible. There's no way you can block it. And he continues on the next 2 pages, I'm not bullshitting you here, goes on another massive fear fetish speech. I mean, that's all he's creepy when he does it. I mean, I'm not even kidding, especially in one panel where he's explaining why people feel safe, and then in the next panel, he's explaining why people feel fear, and then if you combine the 2 together, you get this horror show. But it's been done before, like, twice. He did it during his entire fight with Byakuya, and now he did it last chapter with his whole fear speech. But, you know, at this point, it's more like just a ritual to turn himself on faster. He's like, oh, yes, I'm surrounded by fear. Fear everywhere. Oh, it's so freaking delicious. I'm gonna spread my goo all over your face, Rukia. Oh, yes. I just fear-gasmed. I need an adult. But anyway, regardless of all that nonsense, I guess Rukia just kind of brushes it off. She goes on to state exactly the reason why she can be immune to Asnot's fear ability. And say it with me now, kids. This leads into a monologuing explanation of exactly how your freaking power works to the main villain. Oh wait, okay, maybe not the same way it was with Coma, because at least here at the end of the chapter, it looks like Rukia might have actually won, instead of, you know, just telling the enemy about the power, activating the power, and then beginning the fight. At least here it's near the end, so whatever. So Rukia explains the reason why Asnot's fear ability won't affect her anymore is because she can no longer be considered among the living. What the hell does bitch be talking about? So Sode no Shirayuki, how it works essentially is it doesn't create the ice by itself. It doesn't act as the conduit. See, like how, like, you know, Hyorimaru does, Toshiro's Zanpakuto. Toshiro's Hyorimaru creates the ice by itself, and then Toshiro can just manipulate it. With Sode no Shirayuki, it's a little bit differently. See, according to Rukia, it actually decreases the user's body temperature to the point where she can use all the ice-based abilities, and that's where it comes from. You know, the sword itself is just kind of an extension to be used, you know, kind of like direct the power in one specific location or guide it through the dances. Whenever she uses Sode no Shirayuki, her actual body temperature drops. Which I guess you could kind of see a little bit of that whenever she fought against Arenyaro at the very end with her San no Mai, her third dance, Shirafune. At the end, you know, the entire place gets covered in ice, and she does too. I guess that's one explanation. The other dances I can see kind of this happening too, because remember the other abilities, like her dances, they were only used in like a split second, you know, like Tsukishiro, which just creates the pillar, Hakuren just creates like an ice ripple. You know, it's not like we'll get to see these abilities that are long-lasting enough to see Rukia, her like the effects actually dropping her body temperature. It probably just happens in like a brief second. Josie states this is the reason that Asnot won't be able to win, and Asnot's reply to this is just like, okay. You gotta stop playing with me, girlfriend. You gotta stop with this shit, dropping your body temperature. So, like, you can't be doing that. If you drop your body temperature, then you won't be able to move. The molecules will become retracting. You won't even be able to, you know, move at that point. You know, you can't be talking nonsense like this. You know, that won't make any sense that you're just reducing your body's temperature. So, he's still confident that his fear ability will work on her, and Rukia just kind of shows him, like, you know, she shows up the her hand, and she says that it's true, because now that my molecules have completely frozen to the point where they haven't moved anymore, there's no way to permeate the skin, there's no way to get in, there's no movement. I mean, I could go on the obvious thing right here, like, okay, Rukia, you can't, like, freeze, like, your body and the molecules in your skin and, like, not have the molecules in, like, your inner organs, like your heart and your brain, not move as well. I mean, that's, obviously, if you've reduced the body temperature that much and you were a living being, you would be dead. So please don't try that. Don't be like, pull out Rukia's sword, don't, like, buy it on Amazon, go into a freezer and be like, I'm Rukia, because you will die, okay? Just throwing that out there. But it's an interesting question. I mean, it's not like she can even say, like, oh, I just froze the first layer of my skin, and then, like, no, you can't do that, Rukia. You know, you can't freeze your hand to the point where, you know, the molecules are not moving, so Asnot's fear goo cannot penetrate you, but you can't just have, like, your brain is still functional at the same time. I mean, I know it's Bleach, it's, you know, there's souls or whatever that can, you know, do whatever. I guess that makes sense, but I'm just saying, it's hard for me to comprehend it. So anyway, Asnot still doesn't believe her, but she doesn't really care at this point. She just appears right in front of Asnot and activates her power and states that it's now 18 below zero. Whoever she cuts, the blood will instantly freeze, so therefore that Asnot will not bleed, and therefore stay alive longer. A clever play, Rukia! It doesn't really matter anyway, because the next attack she activates is freezes the entire ground solid and states that her temperature is now 50 below zero, which instantly causes all the moisture in the ground to instantly freeze, causing kind of like an ice quake or like an earthquake type deal. And finally, Asnot just charges at her directly, kind of tired of all this bullshit, and states that the temperature is now 273.15 below zero. Welcome to absolute zero. Don't blink. In this state, I only have 4 seconds of mobility. Only 4 seconds? Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time.
Huh, absolute zero, huh? You know, I don't really know a lot about this because, you know, I'm not really a science guy, but I just heard that maybe, I don't think that temperature is actually possible to reach. I'm not really sure. My science senses are tingling. No, dude, it's cool. I didn't mean to bring it up, it's fine. Just go away. I mean, I'm sure my fans don't really care about your information on absolute zero. No, you shut up, dude. I am tired of this bullshit. Every time I come in here and try to explain things to the good viewers, you're always like, smart taking, I don't want my viewers to know anything. They don't have the IQ to handle it. You know what? Bullshit. I actually have some shit to talk about this time, and I'm gonna talk about it. Jeez, dude, when'd you grow a pair? Okay, go ahead. I won't bother you. I'll just sit down right here. You can go talk about your thing. Okay, then. I'm sorry, Rukia, but you can't reach absolute zero. It's impossible. And to understand this, you basically have to know a lot about quantum mechanics and everything. I'm not going to go into that detail here, but basically, to sum it up, here's how it goes. On paper, absolute zero does actually have a temperature. It's negative 459 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 273.15 degrees Celsius, and 0 Kelvin. Now, you might be thinking, well, if we have numbers for it, then why can't we just keep lowering the temperature of a controlled system or something until we eventually reach absolute zero? Well, here's the thing. When we decrease the temperature in something, it's not like we're increasing the cold, we're decreasing the heat, or better to explain, we're removing the heat from it. Absolute zero is the state where no more heat can be removed from a system. To its very core, all known heat has been completely removed. Okay, well, why don't we just do that? Well, it's because of a thing in quantum mechanics called the uncertainty principle, and once again, I'm not going to go into huge detail what that is. It's a fundamental law of physics. It's been around for a very long time. Go check it out. And basically, uncertainty principle is that we cannot know certain aspects of certain particles. And then in 1927, a famous physician by the name of Werner Heisenberg stated that more specifically, we cannot know the velocity and the position of a particular particle. The more we know about one, the less we know about the other. So the more we know about its velocity, the less we'll know about its position. It's just how it goes. So basically, the problem with absolute zero is that if we were to decrease a mass's heat until the point where it does reach absolute zero, 0 degrees Kelvin, then that means that there would be no more motion, no more friction, all the molecules and everything would be in a stationary state with absolutely zero kinetic energy. That is not possible. You cannot have something with no kinetic energy. So, yeah, that's basically the issue here, where the velocity and the position would be easily identified. The velocity would be zero, of course. That's just why it cannot happen. I know that might be a little bit hard to fathom exactly. Maybe the Bleach universe is some special thing where absolute zero is reachable. But yeah, that's just all I wanted to say about that. You done? Yeah, okay, I'm totally sure we have 9,000 subs still as well, you know, after that little tidbit of information you just released on us. Alright, so Rukia cuts Asnot down with a blade that's maybe absolute zero, or maybe possibly a little bit above absolute zero. Whatever, it's really fucking cold. Can we just be happy with that? Really fucking cold. And Asnot froze solid, he wonders about fear, so this is what it's like to feel fear. Chapter's over. Alright, so actually, it was really good. Like, really good chapter. The only problem I had with it was, of course, the absolute zero thing. Like, if Kubo would have made it, like, a couple degrees above absolute zero, that would have at least be more possible than actually reaching the actual temperature. But, of course, it's anime, it's manga, you can't throw realism and everything. But, hey, since absolute zero does exist in this universe, obviously, because Rukia stated it, and Rukia stated the exact temperature of which absolute zero is reached at, you think Kubo would also know that's physically impossible to reach the damn temperature. But, whatever. That's just a nitpick thing. The actual chapter itself. I already went on a little bit exactly how Sode no Shirayuki works. Rukia activating the power to its fullest and actually dropping your body temperature down that low to the point where the molecules stopped, didn't really seem to encumber her at all. Like, maybe next chapter will get her, like, Asnot will fall to the ground, like, crack his head open, like, shatter into 1,000 pieces, and Rukia will be like, whoa, okay. Gotta be careful when I do that next time, because, you know, maybe the issue with turning it down might not be that much of a problem, but turning your body temperature back up to normal, that might be an issue, so maybe they'll address that. Maybe she will be, like, out of commission for a while. Maybe she'll have to do what, like, Renji did, what she told Renji to do, and go and hide so her body temperature can return to normal or something. So, you know, so maybe something with that. As for Asnod himself, I mean, the guy was frozen solid at a temperature that, you know, is literally, like, this isn't like Grimmjow, when Hakuren hit Grimmjow and only froze, like, the first layer of his skin, you know. Something this cold, you know, is gonna freeze you to your very core, or at least close to your very core. So, this is the kind of thing, like, if he did fall down, he would shatter into 1,000 pieces. So, I mean, unless there's still a resemblance of consciousness in this guy's head, and he can pull like a Kang-Do, where he can activate Volt Standing while frozen completely solid, you know? I mean, like, at least even with Kang-Do, when he was frozen by Toshiro in that Ice Star thing, like, I'm sure that, whatever temperature that wasn't even close to the temperature that Rukia just cut Asnot with. So, I mean, and you know, Kang-Do was still able to do it. Maybe that was, like, you know, like, below freezing, so maybe, like, 0 Fahrenheit, maybe a little bit lower than that, maybe a little bit below 0. Certainly not as cold as this. So, I mean, Volt Standing might be the only thing that will save Asnot at this point, but I don't even see that happening. I mean, we might not get to see his Volt Standing. I mean, a lot of people on the internet are just like, well, Stern Rider's not really dead till we see his Volt Standing. And, you know, that's like the same thing going along with Shinigami, whereas, like, you know, like, they can't die unless we see their Bankai, which, in my opinion, isn't always true. I mean, some captain might die at some point, and we might not get to see their Bankai, and wham, boo-hoo, you might just have to deal with it, but I understand where you're coming from here. But, you know, I'm gonna call Asnot being dead. Like, I gotta call that now from the evidence, what I've seen, from how I saw, you know, Rukia's blade reacted, how her power is. At this point, I do in fact think that Asnot has been deceased. Then again, next chapter I could be proved completely wrong, but at any rate, this fight was over relatively quickly. You know, we had enough time to explain exactly Rukia's power. She did kind of go into a monologue with it, but she didn't go too much into detail like Koma did with his wolf thing, the Bambietta. So I'm at least you know, appreciative of that a little bit. Next chapter, I'm hoping maybe we cut over to something else, maybe. But that's it. Or hey, maybe we'll get like something we got with Yuha and Lloyd and Royd. Well, we'll see like the birth of Asnot and see like when this baby was born, he had this massive fear to everyone around him. I'd actually be interested in seeing that. This dude's freaking backstory, like his childhood, what it was like, because that would be really fun to see. Like this would be the kind of thing where he's not afraid of the monsters under his bed. The monsters under their bed are afraid of this dude, or like the parents are even afraid to have him around. That'd be an interesting little flashback. But anyway, regardless, Tekking101, thanks again for the over 9,000 subs. Signing out. In the snow and like whatever seriously, come on. We had a major ice storm last night, so it's still kind of yeah, we're in the middle of plowing the roads and whatnot. 0 and the blood that will now enter. Really, dude, you already went down here like 3 times already. We're still listening. I probably don't have 9,000 subscribers anymore even at this. Come on, dude! The road is fucking bare! You went down this one road like 5 damn times! Go plow some other roads! I mean, Jesus!